We have the Budkiss and the Bednarik, the Remington, the Nagurski, the Lombardi, the Biletnikoff, and of course, the Heisman Trophy in college football, the Doak Walker Award, the Davey O'Brien Award as well. There is only one, however, Voice of College Football Award. MarkRogersTV, the Voice of College Football, presenting our yearly postseason Conference Players of the Year. So formerly called the MarkRogersTV Awards, these are now the Voice of College Football Awards, as decided about 12 seconds before we started the video. And we start alphabetically at the top of the list with the American Athletic Conference Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year, right here at MarkRogersTV, the Voice of College Football. So before you do anything else, and before I announce the big winners, and I have no envelope here, smash the like button, comment to the videos, any of the videos, and if you're coming across MarkRogersTV, the Voice of College Football, for the very first time, dive in to more than 8,000 videos of college football paradise. All right, let's get to it. Keeping in mind that, of course, Mackenzie Milton, the fine UCF quarterback who led that team to 20-odd consecutive wins, missed the final portion of the season after throwing 25 touchdown passes and finishing his career with, at least in the last two seasons, 0 losses and a claimed national championship and, of course, 2 American Conference championships under mostly his direction, definitely in 2017 with a win over Auburn, included in the Peach Bowl, and, of course, in 2018 as he handed the reins over to Darryl Mack, who did a fine job, but then finally lost against LSU. So Mackenzie Milton, we need to acknowledge his play. And also another honorable mention, Darrell Henderson, who would have won the Conference Player of the Year in many other conferences based on these stats, in missing the final game of the season. He sat out the bowl game against Wake Forest. And he ran for 1,909 yards and 22 touchdowns at 8.9 yards per pop. And he had a tremendous finale in the conference championship game against UCF, running for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns. That Darrell Henderson. That's also Mackenzie Milton. All right, let's get to the winner. The winner is D'Eriq King, quarterback for Houston. He missed some time as well, which almost makes these statistics really incredible. The guy accounted for 50 touchdowns in 11 games. So he missed the thumping by Memphis near the end of the season, the final regular season game, 52-31, that the Cougars took. And then, of course, they were hammered in historic fashion against Army without D'Eriq King in the bowl game, 70-14. So D'Eriq King, in 11 games, missing the final 2, accounted for 50 touchdowns. 36 through the air, 14 on the ground, throwing for 64% completion percentage. All right, keep in mind that the 31 points produced by Houston with D'Eriq King in the lineup was the least that he produced. So he was turning up points and putting points on the scoreboard against everybody in the American Conference. And even in that poor effort against SMU in losing that game and only scoring 31 points, he didn't throw any interceptions and 2 touchdown passes. In addition to the SMU game, Houston under D'Eriq King scored 45, 45, 49, 70, 41, 42, 49, 57, 49, and 48 points. They scored all the time. That included efforts against the Power 5 teams, Arizona and Texas Tech. All right, he tore his meniscus against Tulane. It was a non-contact injury, unfortunately, and that sent him to the sideline for the rest of the season, missing again the final 2 games, but still accounting for 50 total touchdowns. The Voice of College Football, American Conference Offensive Player of the Year, D'Eriq King out of Houston. The Defensive Player of the Year in the American belongs to one of the worst teams, but by far this guy wreaked havoc across the line of scrimmage in the opponent's backfield like nobody else in the American Conference. And we're talking about Nate Harvey of East Carolina. 24 tackles for loss, 14 and a half sacks. The tackles for loss mark is a new conference record. The sack total came within a half a sack of setting the conference record. Yes, Ed Oliver will be one of the top 10 picks in the NFL draft, and he plays the same position. But in terms of productivity in 2018, with Ed Oliver missing a good chunk of the season, that honor goes to Nate Harvey from ECU. Despite the Pirates finishing with a 3-9 record, and despite Nate Harvey being completely off the radar entering 2018, this kid finishes out his career as a senior with a spectacular season, and before that did virtually next to nothing on defense, most of his work on special teams in 2017. He totaled not 24 tackles for loss, not even his 6 tackles were for loss, just 6 total tackles in 2017 for Nate Harvey, our 2018 Voice of College Football American Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Would love to hear your selections. If you disagree with me, certainly put a spotlight on some of those players that you believe should be mentioned or should receive the prestigious Voice of College Football Award for 2018 in the American Conference. So we'll be back with more award selections right here at Mark Rogers TV.